Assuming you have completed level one, we can now move on to level two. What we're doing in level two, which as you can see here in the training, we are going to make a very basic box tube frame. You're going to use the gusses that we just created in the last part and make some box tube and first time handling mates. We're going to go to our 2024 off season, your name and training, and create a new folder, level two. And we are going to create a new document. We can call this frame. I think it's 10 by 10 frame is what we're creating. Okay, first thing we're going to do within here, we're going to create our box tube. Um, we can create our box tube, go to your front view, whatever view you want to use, it doesn't necessarily matter. Create your sketch. We're going to use by one box tube, so we're going to use a rectangle, and we're going to dimension this using the D hotkey. We're going to make this one, and then we need to do an offset. Click on all faces, offset again, and then we're going to click and then change this number to 0.0625. Most of our box tubing that we use is 16th of an inch, pretty sure, and then eighth of an inch is that thicker stuff. So 16 inches is good, and we've got the outer, and then we have the thickness. Now we get the check mark. We're going to hit an extrude again, and we said this is going to be 10 inches. We also got to select on there. Check mark again. And now we have a box tube, but we don't have our standard hole pattern. So we can create a sketch on the top of here. We can draw a circle, dimension the circle. And when you do dimensions for circles, it's important that you do it from the center of the circle. Otherwise, you'll be doing it from the edge, and it won't be dimensioned how you would expect it to be. Um, zero point 0.5 is your distance here. And then zero point 0.5 is also your distance here. It won't always be 0.5, zero point 0.5. If you're using 2 by 1 box tubing, you're going to want the holes to be in a different spot, maybe, depending on what you're trying to do. Um, the hole is also going to be again 0.201 to be the standard size for clearance for 1032. You can find the different hole sizes by searching them up on Google. Search up the tool, like if it's a quarter inch, 1 divided by 4, search up 1 divided by 4 clearance tool, and you can find all these numbers. I just know them by heart. And we're going to make a linear pattern because I am lazy, and we're not going to just do this all manually. So a linear pattern. Click on your hole, and what we can do is we can bring that down and change this to a 1 because we don't want any extra holes to the side, and we just want holes in this phase. So we want a zero point 0.5, negative zero point 0.5 hole pattern, and then we can change this number, we're going to guess, to 20. And 20 is one guess too much because we have one hole going off the edge. So we're going to change this to 19. With that being 19, now we have all the holes there. And for some reason, you can right click on a sketch, edit it. The orientation was changed by itself. So I think it was that one, negative zero point 0.5. Must have been 0 point 0.5. Okay, I guess it's positive zero point 0.5 if you know negative zero point 0.5 said the orientation. Okay, so now we have that in the right spot. We can do a thicken, and then we're going to select the remove tab, and we're going to change the thickness to 1. There, we may have to select merge with all if it gives an error. So for this, there's no quick way really to do it that I found so far. You just have to click on each one of the holes, and it's tedious, especially when you get to longer holes, but it's just a one and done. Not that hard to do. Click on each hole. You see how it says no more scope selected. Just click on merge all. And now if you go to the other side of the part, you see the holes are disappeared. So now you do that on there. And now let's do the same thing on the right side. Rinse and repeat here. Make your hole, dimension your hole. Make your other hole dimension it, and then make your hole 0.201, 0.201, and then we do our linear pattern. Click on it. There's a sure, and this distance needs to be negative zero .5 apparently, and then we're going to remember from last time it was 19. 19 is good, and if for some reason again I don't know why OnShape does that, um, with their own direction, so change that to zero .5, and then now we can do a thicken again, remove, and select each one of the holes, and then hit merge with all, check mark, and if we look at that, I messed up and didn't change my thickness. It needs to be 1 inches, and it goes all the way through. So now we have our first part here, and we have everything that we need to make the frame. So now we can go to assembly to create a new um, part within your own document, because that's what we're going to do for this season. Is you can click on this tab here, insert new tab, and we're going to create an assembly. Within the assembly, you already have a tab here. You can use either one. This is the pre-default one, so I'm going to actually delete that tab. I'm going to use the tab here. We can insert parts into the assembly. So we can insert parts from here, and we're going to need 4 of these pieces. So what we can do, you can just click on this 4 times, 2, 3, 4, and it'll tell you right there how many you have inserted, and then you click. And then now, since you have completed stage 1, you can go to our other documents and go to our source standard parts gussets, the 90-degree gusset, and we're going to need 8 gussets, I believe. So we can click on his 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now we have all 8 of our gussets. We're going to have these gussets connect our frame. And I'm just going to make a top view real quick. And we're going to make this into a square, basically. So we're going to mate. Mate, you can use M, and it's not as nice as SolidWorks. SolidWorks does most of the thinking for you. You have to actually think when you're doing your mating here. So we're going to do a mate. And you got to click on your face. And there's different types of mates. There's planar mate, circular mate, and parallel mate. I think that's basically all the mates we're going to need. I don't know if Fasten does. Haven't been successful with it. So I'm going to use a planar mate. Planar mate is this, you're having the 2 planes that you have connected, selected, pretty much mate with each other. Hit planar mate and hit the check mark. So now that that planar mate is connected, and actually I want to edit that in orientate, orientate, orientate. I'm going to delete that mate because I want to mate this face to this face, planar, and then I'm going to mate this face to get them level, planar again, and then I'm going to mate this face to this face and planar. And it's weird with OnShape. It doesn't simulate the same way as SolidWorks. So, and now we're going to bring in this part here. So we're going to do all of our planar mates at once to make this go smooth. Again, this is just how I've learned this past couple weeks. You can do it whatever way you want to do it. And then we do mate to the plane, and then mate to the plane. And then now I'm going to do the same thing with this last piece here. Mate mate to the plane, mate mate. I'm going to rotate that axis. Okay, I guess I'm not going to rotate that axis. I'm actually going to delete that mate. And if these mates like actually showed what they're gonna mate better, it probably would be more intuitive, but you might have to play around with this stuff a little bit. We are getting this for free after all. And then we're gonna do a planar mate. And then do another planar mate. Okay, that last mate broke everything. Mate. Okay. So now our whole frame is connected. We can move the frame. Um, Another thing that's kind of annoying is that there's no origin part. It doesn't come in here default fixed. So to fix something, you have to right click on it and fix it. Now this can no longer move. And now let's get our gussets knocked out. We're going to do a mate. This is the same thing. Whenever you put something together in person, it's a very similar concept. Um, I'm going to do a mate for my planer to here, and I have a planar mate, and I'm going to put that circle with this one here. So we send you a circle mate. That's what that's going to be. And I have a mate messed up somewhere, but we can fix that later on. Fix that now, actually. We're going to fix that planar mate because that was going into the part. So now we can do a mate planar mate mate to that face, do a planar mate, and that's good now. And now let's go back to our circle mate. Get that kind of how we want it to be, and mate. And now that part, that bracket's done. What you're gonna do is do that same thing to each one of these corners and all your parts until you get something that's very similar to this frame. This frame where you have all your parts connected. And that's level 2.